the first stage November 9th, and then the last one December 7th. Um, if you go into the description of the assignment, then you can see the rubric and whatever I expect explicitly in there. Are there any questions? Okay, are there any questions regarding the project in general? So it can be the presentation and everything, but it can also be about um, the project itself, about how to complete it, all of that. If there are any questions, today is the day to ask.
Professor.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. So regarding the ripen initial assessment
Mm-hmm.
under the assignments as well,
Mm-hmm.
is that due yesterday?
The initial assignment, that was one of your OGLs, yes. That was actually due, let me see. It was the due date is right there in the assignment. So it's either it's an OGL, um, wait.
Yeah, it was
Because we
OGL
just
and the
It
submitted
wasn't
submission
it
the
was.
today.
initial assignment was the OGL. It was due before today's meeting just to make sure that everyone was well prepared. Yeah. But you can you still have time to complete it.
Yeah, we just submitted earlier today.
Awesome. Perfect.
Well, are we going to get minus points for that or no?
No, I'm gonna check. Let me check the deadline. Um, as you know, the OGLs, I know that a lot of people are still seem to be a bit confused about the OGL deadlines, but we've talked about it a couple of times. The OGL is due before the in-person class. Um, Abigail, do you have a question?
Just I'm the one who's asking, Professor.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, no, because there
It's
was
okay.
your hand was still up, so I was
Oh,
wondering if you have another question.
all good. Thank you.
No, no worries. Abhijit.
Professor, we have 1 day, like before going to the class, we have time to submit our OGL activity, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
So this was a group assignment, right? So only one member of our team has submitted this, so that's
Yeah,
okay, right?
yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm
Professor, the
yes,
ripen one is is a group activity, right?
the
And
whole
the
thing.
others, like we have remained this one, OGL activity, like which is consumer behavior based on that. So it's individual, right? So
Yes, everything other than tech trends and your final project is individual.
okay, so for this individual one, we have time to submit it by like before Thursday in
Yeah,
class.
yeah, yeah,
I got. Thank you.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
honestly, we didn't as our group, we didn't gone through this ripen project yet, so that is why no questions anymore because we got the email maybe today, so some of maybe seen or not. So maybe after like we're gonna discuss it with them, then if have any issue, then we're gonna come up to the next, maybe OGL or in class we can
Um,
discuss.
Fair. OGL week 4, though, this would be basically based on your OGL week 4 assignment, right? So during week 4, your assignment was to actually look into the company, which is why the meeting is today. So this was supposed to be done last week.
Yeah, thank you, Pros.
Harpreet, question?
Uh, Hello, Professor. My question is this: for every OGL, you always say we have to complete it before the class. So for this
Mm-hmm.
week, this is the fifth week starting from today itself. So we have to complete OGL 5 now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
and
week 5.
there are two files in that data is given. So we have to work on that.
Yeah, for week 5, yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Pooja,
Hi, Professor.
hey.
Hi. So actually, I just uploaded our initial assignment, ribbon assignment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
at first, I uploaded a wrong one. So I uploaded it twice. So is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, of
That's
course.
fine.
Yeah, I will check the last one,
Okay,
the
sure.
the
I have also
latest
written a
one.
note on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Um, okay, so based on, does everyone know what company we're working with?
Yeah, the Omelia they
Yes.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I wanted to know, we Jesus, I just had a brain fart. I forgot what I was about to say. Um, God, okay, let it come back to me.
Okay. Okay. So a couple since I know that at this point it might be a little, oh, hold on. Fardina, do you have a question? Would you like to go next?
Um, yes, Professor. My question was about the page limits. So for
Mm-hmm.
the first one that we did, you wrote that you want something around 4 to 6 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it like the minimum or the maximum? And also, if you could clarify for the final one, how many pages do you expect, and is it the minimum or the maximum? Because yeah.
I would say, yeah, it's okay. So I don't really enforce the page limit that heavily. It can be, I would say, in order to communicate the type of information that you're gonna need to communicate, you're going to probably need 5 to 6 pages. Now, am I going to penalize you for going up to like 7, 8 pages? Not really. Or like less than that? Probably not. But if less means you're actually not covering the information that you have to cover, then I'm not going to deduct points just because you didn't meet the page limit. It might happen because the content just is not there. Does that make sense? So 5 to 6, I would say, is um, a
Standard.
suggestion based on,
Yeah.
yeah, a suggestion
Yeah.
based on how much I think you should be, probably how in depth you should go into this. Um,
Okay.
there's really like, if obviously if it's way less or a lot more, it probably means that um well, if it's way less, it means the depth is not there. If it's a lot more, it might be that your writing is not as concise as it should be. It's also,
Mm-hmm.
we want to make sure that we do consider consulting best practices, right?
Yeah,
You're giving
I
this to
get
a
you.
person who might not read it fully,
Yeah.
so that's why. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And Naomi, did you
Yeah,
did you
I
remember the
remember.
question?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I do. Was the OGL graded?
Not yet.
Okay, so it is weighted grading for our final result.
Um,
The ripen
the
initial assessment.
OGL. That one is just on OGL. So the 40% of your ripen assignment would be 30% for the last one, 10% for a polished team
The
charter
the one that
and
we're doing now,
an
right?
outline. The one that you're doing
The proposal,
in, yes.
the deep dive, stage
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
So the project outline and the team charter, right? So is this
Hmm.
one document
Yes.
or two documents? One doc?
One is fine.
Okay. Go.
Yeah.
Professor, my grade, anything is not updated yet. Can you please check? Like,
What for?
grade, the last maybe midterm as well as
The
the OGL or personas, this kind of.
I have not updated anything yet. So if you haven't, if your grade hasn't been updated, you're probably gonna have to wait. Any other questions? Today would be a good day to actually ask a little bit about the project itself and the final report, mostly because I think last week, so I have it open in front of me right now. Last week, week 4, was technically supposed to be the week where you work on the just like looking into the company. Any questions since the unfortunately, Kristen, I'm just wondering if they're already here and I'm not seeing them. No, I think. Okay, I'm gonna send him an email and hmm, no. All right, then I'm gonna answer questions. Did everyone take a, do you know what company we're looking at? And did you take a look at their business?
Yes, sir.
Can someone remind us of what company it is?
They're a photographer, usually wedding,
Mm-hmm.
corporate events, and some individual portraiture,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
individual photo shoots. They focus mainly on, um,
exactly.
like their customer base is mainly seems like, um, ethnic people. They focus on weddings. They have a large Nigerian audience. They seem to be Nigerian themselves. This plays into their business as well. And their aesthetic is very like luxurious, kind of like upmarket and you know, that kind of vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then did you look at their social media presence, at their digital marketing
Yep.
practices in general?
So
Any thoughts?
they have two social media pages. The corporate one has a lot less followers than the private, which has about 2,000. So it's not very active.
Mm-hmm.
That was my taking.
Yeah, that's a good wrap up. Any other thoughts? Any?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, just to add to what Naomi already said, so they don't really, because I looked at their Instagram when we're doing the group ripen thing, and they seem to like post once in a month or like once in 2 months, I think depending on how many clients they get. But I think overall their brand tone and colors and everything is very consistent with their Instagram. On TikTok, they
Mm-hmm.
don't have much following or post as well. And the same thing on Facebook. So I think their primary social media page is Instagram.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about search and search ads over the next couple of weeks. Then you can start analyzing that a little bit too. One reminder, if you go into the project description in your assignments, I will, if the client is not going to be here, then I'll just share my screen then. This is not great, but okay. So I will show you that here, when you go into ripen stage 1, what you're required to do, I know that a lot of you have done a ripen assignment in intro to marketing. There's one little difference between what we're doing this semester and what you did during that course, and that is um, and that is each team is going to choose a specialization. Out of all the topics that we talk about, if here. Out of all the topics that we talk about, you're not going to work on everything. Sorry, just wanted to make sure I let everyone in. Yeah, okay. We're not going to all work on all of the topics. Each of the teams can actually pick either social media, well, not either, but social media, SEO, email marketing, paid marketing, and UX and web experiences. So in order to do the reason why I've asked you to pick one of these topics is that I want you to go a little bit deeper into your analysis and go a little bit deeper into creating the assets or coming up with tools that would help with that specific area. And then at the end of the semester, it would make it a bit more interesting because that would mean that each team has worked on a particular topic. So then it makes it more interesting for all of us to listen to. One thing that I want you to remember, this is the super polished document. It's due, this is the one that has 10% of your grade and it's due on November 9th. So far, you've been doing just like analyses, a little bit of studying the company and the background and the industry. But what in order to submit this one, I want you to actually look into which of the topics you want to do a deep dive in. Questions? Okay, so then for
So,
example,
Professor,
yeah.
as a group in the like marketing area, we'll look into just only one. Like if we go for email marketing, then we need to go into deep about email marketing, how
Exactly,
like this
exactly,
works on this for this
exactly,
company.
exactly. Yeah. Because then I think it would be a lot of work to actually do a deep dive on all of them, and then I think all of you would probably benefit from um, viewing one of these more fully. Yeah, and then so pick one of the topics based on what you know you're interested in, and maybe based on what kind of tools you would rather learn better. Because during while you're writing the proposal, you actually have to submit some sample assets and tools and also a little bit of a budget. For example, if you decide to work on, let's say paid media, if you want to focus on like Google Ads, stuff like that, then it would be okay. Sorry, I'm gonna stop trying to highlight. But if you try to focus on, for example, Google Ads, I do want you to include a little bit of a financial analysis. It doesn't have to be perfect, obviously, but I do want you to start thinking about what would be appropriate for a small company. Does that make sense? So if you look into, I'm just gonna open the other one too. I've actually also set up the final presentation and proposal assignment. So if you go into that, you will also see what is expected at the very end of, no, at the very end of the semester. So then you can kind of adjust accordingly. Okay, no difference. So if you go into the assignments, then you see two things at the bottom. There's the assignment and stage one. Stage one would be a very polished team charter. Think about this as just like the backbone of your final assignment. This is set up so that you can kind of start writing around November 9th. And then this is the final one. Any questions? So if you go in there, you will see in the rubric, I'll just show you, you will see in the rubric that you actually like have to submit here. Tactics specific strategic plan, I have some page limits here for you. And then if you look into here, I do want you to maybe add smart KPIs. So in order to submit KPIs, you do have to pick one area because as you see in the lessons, you cannot really go with the same KPIs for all of these domains. You cannot treat social media like you treat email marketing. And then I also want here, there's also sample content, for example. Sample content doesn't mean I want you to just like create all of the content that they have to post on their Instagram for a year. It just means if you talk about, okay, we do need a content calendar, the content calendar, for example, we do need a content calendar for a particular campaign. I do want some samples. Like, what is that gonna look like? Does that make sense? And then here, timeline, tools. This is why we're each picking a topic. I think this would,
So
yeah,
what
yeah,
if we all
go
pick
ahead.
the same topic?
What if you pick the same topic? That's also okay. Um, that has usually not been the case, which is why I don't really enforce a particular topic, but we can actually check. Okay, there is the client. So we can, hi. Hey.
Oh, hello. I didn't realize you're talking to me.
Oh, no worries. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. We have the class here. We were just going through some of the nitty-gritties of submitting the assignment, which would be more like something that I would deal with until you joined us. So then now, though, I think it's better if we talk about the actual project, your expectations.
Right.
We were talking just about the rubric before you joined us.
Oh, okay. So I'm not really sure if I should be here or
No,
I should
no, no,
step
that
out.
you should. No, 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 you should. We were just warming up. Yeah, so mm, you and I have talked, and I have
Mm-hmm.
shared everything I knew about the company with the junior consultants here. But
Okay.
we would also like to hear from you about the business and about what your expectations are with this project.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good. Hi,
Just a thought.
okay.
Can I record this session? Would that be okay? Just in case someone missed it.
For sure, that's completely fine.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. Um, it's a pleasure to be in the midst of you all, and thank you for having me. I'm super excited for what you all are going to do for us and how this will contribute to your learning as well. So yeah, thank you so much. And also thank you, Nisha, for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. Okay, so just give a brief about the organization, what we do, full context, and then what we are trying to achieve with the project. Essentially, we are a media production company, broadly speaking. And basically, what we do is we help organizations tell their stories in the simplest form. That's what we do. And to dive down into that, when we say tell their stories, is for example, you have marketing campaigns that they want to run, or adverts, or things like that, or maybe it's their brand positioning, or maybe it's a new product launch, or things like that. So we come in and provide the media expertise to do that from a media perspective. And we have the capabilities to do that from a strategic point of view and also an execution point of view. And what I mean by that is we can come on board in a consultant capacity where we ask questions, know exactly what the pain point is, go from point A to Z in terms of defining what it is that they're trying to do. Sometimes it involves having them go back to the drawing board, and then eventually we come up with a strategy and we decide, okay, this is the best path for you to take, and this is how you need to get there. And then we also have the capacity to go on ground and do the work. So, for example, we need to actually execute a marketing campaign towards a product. So we have the videographers, we have the editors, we have the cameras, we have everything in house that we can use to execute on something like that. So that's pretty much what we do. And beyond the video, so pretty much anything media production. So we're talking about photography, for example, if you think about like a skincare product and they need to like take pictures of their models or things like that, we're able to execute that in-house as well. And then from the video side, pretty much. So anything within the media spectrum, we are able to do that. We're able to provide our services cover um, those range of services pretty much. So that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell. And then as far as what this project is about, but before I go there, a little bit more on who we serve. So we serve corporate organizations, large scale, small scale, and we also serve private individuals. On the private individual side, we do more branding for individuals, for small businesses, I would say. We also for sole proprietors. On the private side, we also do a lot of work around weddings for private for people as well. So and that leads me into what we're trying to do with this campaign pretty much. So we want to go hard on digital marketing, pretty much, and that is the full spectrum of what can digital marketing be for us and how can it help us advance our business. So we are thinking about email marketing, we're thinking about social media, we're thinking about how we can leverage digital marketing generally. So our website, SEO, how we can use digital marketing to advance our business. So be it further positioning ourselves. There's a component of it is further positioning ourselves. A component of it is attracting clients. A component of it is getting people to visibility, pretty much. So that's kind of what this project is about. And the hope, the goal is that you specialists would be able to work with us and give us guidance on how we can navigate implementing or how we can go about bringing digital marketing into our business pretty much. And maybe now, maybe later, I can give you like a lowdown of what we do, current state where we currently are at, and then we can take it up from there. So that's mostly it on the help that we require and what we do as an organization. I don't know if anybody has any questions, or Nisha, I just pass it back to you.
I have a question that usually trips myself and everyone else up. So do you have a budget that you could share with us? Because I know that these projects will get into the budget, they will get into the solutions. So I do know that it's probably better if you share the budget so that it's feasible.
Mm-hmm. Right. In terms of budget, frankly, we haven't thought about what it's going to look like. I think where we currently are at would be what would a proposal look like? So if we were to do, or what, so it would be, we recommend you to run ads XYZ amount of times a year and whatnot. And then we look at that and say, okay, this is viable, this makes sense for us to do. And then we can say, okay, what can we allocate as a business to doing this, and what would be the ROI in doing this in that regard. So I think we haven't necessarily thought about, okay, this is what budget will look like, but more so, these are the tactical approaches you can take
Hmm.
to execute on different initiatives.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Then we'll just get as creative as possible.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions? Naomi?
So you want to use social media. So you want to use social media, digital marketing, basically. This is the tactic that you want to use to promote your business to more corporate clients, or who are you targeting specifically with your new campaign?
Right. So our target is both corporate clients and private individuals. Like I tried to describe who we serve before. So how I anticipate or what I anticipate that is going to be, or what is it going to look like would be, at the end of the day, what I'm hearing from your team is you're telling us for corporate clients, this is who you should be targeting. This is your messaging to them, and these are specific tools you can use, or these are templates of how you can reach out to them, or things like whatever that looks like from your perspective. I think that would be, I think that's what we would require, or that would be helpful for us as a business. And same thing for private individuals. So, for example, when we say we are targeting um high-end clients for our weddings. So it would be a thing of, okay, this is how to reach them, this is where to find them, this is the messaging that resonates with them, and things of that sort. I don't know if that really answers your question.
So you want growth and conversion for corporate and individuals. So isn't that like two campaigns?
So we're not specifically trying to run a campaign,
Okay.
right? So
So
when you say a campaign, is you're thinking about, okay, well, there's probably a service or a product that you're trying to push out that you want people to see.
Mhm.
But that is not necessarily what we're trying to do. So essentially, we think of it as a blank slate where there's this organization, they need help with digital marketing. So you as the consultant, you're the expert, you're coming in to say, okay, what would digital marketing look like for this organization? You have an understanding of what the organization does. So what would digital marketing look like for this organization? So our goals would be, okay, we would love visibility. We would love to reach more clients in that
So yeah.
sense. So how can digital marketing help this organization to do that? So that will now go deeper into looking at the specific tools or specific aspects of digital marketing that we can incorporate to be able to get to that point.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I wanted to know more about your goals.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll ask a question while everyone else thinks a little bit more about that.
Mhm.
Christian, what's the best outcome of this project for you? So at the end of, I think mid-December, when this project wraps up, what is the ideal?
I think what would be beneficial would be, I know there's going to be like a presentation kind of thing. I think what would be beneficial would be a tactical roadmap, pretty much. So you've done the research about the industry. This is the best way to find clients. This is the best way to get in touch with them. This is what the messaging looks like. So it'll be like, okay, this are the specific tools, or these are specific things you can incorporate into the business that would be able to give you XYZ results if you begin to implement these certain things. Maybe taking that further would be if you have, or if we can get, say, templates or things like that, of how we can. It's one thing to say, okay, this is where you need to go, and it's one thing to say this is how to get there, and it's another thing to say these are the things that you need to get there, pretty much. So a spectrum of, or a roadmap that incorporates any of these details, or these details, would be really helpful for us.
Yeah, that's actually what we were talking about. I think part of the submission criteria is to include measures, some sample assets, all of that. So I'm hoping that will be helpful.
Yep.
Ferdinand, would you like to ask your question?
Yes,
Um,
Professor. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi. I have a question. So, do you have any preference for organic marketing or performance-based like ads? So, do you want us to focus on organic marketing more, or you are open to performance-based marketing like ads? And
Mhm.
also, are you open to collaborate with other not like other florists or
Yeah,
who are
vendors.
like in the same industry? Are you open
Mhm.
for collaboration? That was my question. Thank you.
That's a great question. So I think this leads me to telling you current state what we do. I didn't know if this was the right class for that, but I can as well just talk on that. So currently, what we do around marketing is we mostly use Instagram, and Instagram is mostly for our weddings. On the corporate side, we haven't really done much of pretty much nothing as far as putting ourselves out there and the work that we do. All the work we've been able to do on the corporate side over the last 3 years have strictly come from referrals, where we did something, they loved it, somebody asked, who did this for you? And then there was more opportunities coming from strictly referrals. We haven't really done anything as to marketing ourselves on the corporate side. So our focus around marketing has mostly been through social media, and the biggest platform that we use is Instagram. And then on Instagram, we do a
Mhm.
combination of both organic and paid. We Because of the nature of the wedding industry, it's mostly seasonal. So there are times where you go heavily on paid ads. We get to do that. And then there are times where you we go heavy on content creation. So during the season, like at the peak of the season, you're not really running any ads, because at that point, all the bookings and everything, you are executing on all those. So we're not really running ads per se. We are more so showing the work that we're doing during those seasons. So in that period, it's more organic. And then when it's off-season periods, for example, it's winter, and people around this time, people begin to book for next year or for the next 2 years their weddings. This is the time where we do a lot of ads. We have ads that are currently running in terms of our marketing on Instagram right now. So that's kind of what we do. And in terms of collaboration, yes, we do. We're open to collaborating with other vendors as well. What we currently do in that regard is, when we do a wedding, when we are posting the pictures and everything, we tag everybody, we collaborate, invite everybody to collaborate and things like that. But that's the most that we currently do as far as collaboration goes. I know that there have been conversations internally as to an opportunity to do more of I forget what it's called, an opportunity to do more of a where we all just come together and put something up, not necessarily an actual wedding, but we all just collaborate to create something where the florist brings the flowers, then the cake person brings the cake, and then it's more of a simulation than an actual thing. And then, but we haven't really done anything like that, and we know that that's something that they do within the industry. So far, that's
Yeah.
where we are at as far as what we do in terms of the ads, in terms of the organic, and then the collaboration. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So
Perfect.
you are basically open to collaboration and you want a mix of both. So, okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
please.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emanuela, would you like to go next?
Yeah, thank you so much, Christian, for breaking it down. I just had a few questions following up from when you mentioned the goals, what you'd like to see following our digital marketing strategies and our ideas. So like
Mm.
I know that it seems like your major cash cow is weddings, and that's like really exciting. But like on the business side, if we were to also put that into consideration, I think that the strategy would be different. So I guess my question to you is what specifically are your goals? Because if it's for visibility across those two brands, I think they target two different sections and two different audiences. So, or if you would like for us to like do both.
Right. So I think I'm not sure where uh mm, and Nisha, I'm not sure where we landed in terms of, I know there are two cohorts, and we hadn't really had the conversation as to which cohort was going to handle what in that regard. But I don't know if you have a broader plan, but generally, as far as this project goes, I think if we can get recommendation for both, that would be absolutely great. I don't know if it's same cohort that would handle both or one cohort will handle one part. I don't know the arrangement. But yeah, you sure you want to go?
Well, I was just thinking, since this class is the first class, I don't know if it will be unfair, but maybe we can choose something for this class, and then the other one would be for my tomorrow, for the one tomorrow.
Right.
But no, generally I leave it up to the groups to decide what they want to focus on. But and generally in the past, what we've had was a good combination of different personas, different markets.
Mhm.
But if you any ideas, guys? Is there a particular preference for either?
If you ask me, or if you
Hmm.
allow, if I could chime in,
Yes, please.
I would say that both would provide, I'll say that both would provide a unique experience. Because one, you're dealing with B2B, that's business to business experience, and then the other one is B2C, you're dealing with business to customers. And in a marketing setting, those are two almost completely different things where you approach your approach, your tactics, your strategy, and for both are usually different. So just in me chiming in, I'm saying I think it will give you a robust experience if you do both. But I don't know where you are in terms of bandwidth, in terms of capacity, or whatever the other aspects around your class setting goes on. I don't know if you're able to do both, but I'm just saying that if you were to do both, it will give you a more comprehensive experience.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I even had a very clear understanding of the fact that there were two components, so it was
Right.
awesome that we're talking about it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
we can leave it for the groups to decide.
Okay.
I can also I'm just wondering, does anyone want to tell me if you think doing both? Because, okay, maybe Christian, just to remind you, each team is focusing on one subset of digital marketing. So I don't want to put too much on everyone's plate, but I feel like it might be doable to do both sides of both B2B and B2C, because we're having teams focus on one team would be focusing on social media, for example, one team on Google Ads. So there's a little bit of a more in-depth focus rather than a
Mhm.
broad focus.
Right. Okay.
And then, yeah, so any thoughts from the class? I think looking at maybe both sides might be interesting, but
Yeah, that's why I initially asked about the clients and the goals, because it was a case of scope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't sure, because obviously they're going to be very different tactics and very different, they're two different target audiences. So I was wondering, which one are you trying to grow? Because you've already got your wedding stuff going, right? And you have a growing customer base there. But the corporate one, I think, when I was looking at your profiles, the corporate one definitely needs some love and attention, because you was talking about that you have a whole production house there, and you work with but you can work with small businesses as well to promote their products, and that's something that's really not obvious when I look at your websites and your digital communications. I think that's something that you can exploit.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Yeah. You're spot on with your evaluation is the fact that as far as our publicity for the work we've done in corporate side goes, we haven't really done much of that. Again, and that just goes back to the fact that because it's been flowing. When I say flowing, like we've been functioning through referrals, so we haven't paid that much attention to that other than pushing the private side, the weddings component. So that gives perspective, what you just said. So I guess I would say if you were to prioritize, the business side should take priority in that regard because I guess it will need all the loving, like you said. Yeah.
And is there any type of like visual material? Because I'm pretty sure you have a bit of like photos and stuff that we could use when we make our templates or something like that to make it more worthwhile for you.
Are you speaking more of marketing assets or
Yes,
like yes,
images,
absolutely.
videos
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure we can speak with Neosha and she'll convey that to us.
Actually,
Right.
I think everyone will have access to this chat, to the chat in this meeting afterward, just to make sure that I don't miss any messages or miscommunicate. You can still, Christian, of course, it's also your prerogative. How would you like to receive communication? I generally say that this chat is available if anyone wants to ask anything, if you want to share assets with everyone here, this chat is always going to be available.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome. And then you can also, if there at any point anyone wants to share an email or anything, I'm perfectly fine with that. Generally, this I leave this to the client, based on, how much bandwidth you feel like you have.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to summarize, I think it would be better if the teams focus on what they think is the highest value target at this point when it comes to how to grow Amelia Visual. Then if you think that's the services that are for corporate, then you go right ahead with that if it's weddings. But to that end, Christian, is there any information that you can share with us that we wouldn't necessarily find on the website or by Googling about Amelia visuals?
Yeah, I think what I can do just to make it very easy would be to share potentially a one pager or something like that that gives a
Hmm.
breakdown of what we are about as far as the corporate side goes. And that would just summarize pretty much what we do, who we are, and pretty much anything else. And if there is any other thing that the team would need to make any progress, I would always be available to provide such information.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? So I have one last question. Um, in the proposal, what is required or what I recommend that everyone does is to find some tools that they think would help with that specific side of digital marketing, to come up with the budget required for that particular tool. AI is pretty huge, so we usually look into some AI related tools that help automate some of the functions. Is there um, any problem in particular that you're solving now that you would like us to focus on?
Um, I'm not sure I completely understand the question.
Is there any tool that you would like us to look more closely into?
Right. Um, Not specifically. Not specifically. I know that there are a ton of tools out there that can do different things. Um, so I do not specifically have one that I'll say, oh yeah, look into this one. But if the team in, looking through everything comes up with a recommendation as this would be useful to execute this, that would give you this result and things like that, we are happy to look into it.
Awesome. Perfect. Naomi, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, so like I
Gotcha.
just have two, it's like a two for one kind of thing. So like first off, how do you feel about AI? And then secondly, what oh God, yeah, first of all, let's ask how you feel about AI because I blanked out on the second question again. I don't know. I have a bit of a headache. My brain's going. Yeah, oh
It's
sorry. And
okay.
what tools are you currently using?
For
Yeah.
marketing specifically?
Yes.
Okay, so for what we feel about AI, we're 100% open to it. It's a needed edge, pretty much makes processes faster, gives you um basically just augments pretty much everything with the automations and things like that. Currently, we use AI for automations. So we have an agent that runs our booking process. So once anybody comes, gets on our website, fills in the details, it goes straight into our funnel, and then there's an email that be sent out directly to the person, and at the same time, a meeting is booked and things like that. So we currently have that process, but just that is just our booking process. But as far as marketing, like actual marketing goes, not so much. I guess what we do the most is we have like automated replies on Instagram, and that's pretty much the most that we do in that regard. But I know that there is a huge potential for what can be done, and that's why we have you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Joan, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Christian.
Hi, John.
Yeah. So I had two questions, but Naomi has already asked the first one I wanted to ask. But the second one is the budgeting. Because I remember Professor asked about the budgeting. You didn't really clarify more on that.
Right. So what I had said about the budget was we didn't come in here thinking we were going to require a budget in that sense. So what we were more so thinking about in engaging the students would be to create a tactical strategic roadmap after evaluating this is where we are at, this is where we are trying to go, this is how you can get there, and these are all the things that we need to get there. If at any point within this process there would be a need to, okay, well, let us do a test run of this and this is what we require, then we can have a conversation as to what we can allocate as to budget to that. But as of now, it was not a conversation that was in quotes on the table, if I'm to put it that way. Yeah, so that's where we currently are. But if there's any need along the project where it would require if maybe we would need to run an ad or something, maybe like for a week or for a month or for whatever timeline, then we can determine how much the budget is and we can potentially make that available.
So
Does
then,
that
is
answer the
it
question? Yeah.
fair to say everyone should just focus on what they think would work best and put the numbers together and then leave the decision up to you to decide whether that would be something you will implement or not. But um, the numbers should be there and the best possible approach should be there to a to the tactical level. So here's what you do and here's how much it would cost, and that should be on paper, and then the decision would be up to you.
Absolutely. I think that's kind of what we are looking for.
Yeah. Then there's a lot of freedom with the proposals.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Any other questions? Yeah, Naomi?
Sorry, I'm chewing up all the time, right? So, is it
Good
just you
question.
on the team? Are there who else is on the team? I would like to know. Like
Right.
what internal resources are we working with? Because, we can come up with a plan and everything, but if you already have something going on, it's better that we build on it rather than telling you to do it again.
Right. So in terms of our structure, we are a corporation, a one-man corporation. But as far as projects or any work that comes on board goes, there is usually a team that gets pulled together to execute on things that need to be done. So just to make that very clear is as far as the administration, of this organization goals, I handle all of those. But if we have a project that comes on and then we need an editor, we need somebody to handle social media or whatever, we're able to pull a team of people together. Right now I'm in conversations to hire potentially some people to lead social media campaigns. Um, Before I had someone, or previously I had somebody, I'm looking to email marketing. So just like that is on a needs basis, I'm able to have people come on board to support our processes pretty much.
Nice. Cool. So it's just you and the agent right now until you do a project?
Yes. Which means AI.
Well, it's pretty cost efficient, right?
Pretty much. I was going to add on the budget side. So again, like just so that it's clear, if the team in making a proposal or maybe also in the course of this program, the team decides this is the best way to go, or this we recommend you do this, and the team wants to do a test run. At the end of the day, we are looking at what is valuable for the business and at the same time what to give the students a good experience, I would say. So if there is a need to have an allocation for something, maybe an ad, we can look into it and make it available during the session. It doesn't have to be, or just submit the proposal and then you do whatever you want to do. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Thank you. That's very valuable. And I think we can sign confidentiality agreements and all of that to make sure that if further information becomes available, it's also protected.
For sure.
Any other questions? I think this has been very helpful. I personally don't have any questions, but then again, I'm not the one who has to do the project. So, if anyone else has any questions, again, you have access to this chat if you want to ask questions from Christian. Just to remind you, the course-related things will probably come to me. Um, Christian probably cannot help you with your grades and anything. That would be something I will do. But if it's about impact and the important things in the project, yes, you can talk to Christian. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's pretty late for you, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for having me. Looking forward to working with everybody, and I'm super excited to make progress on this. And thank you, Nisha, for organizing. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you. See you
All
soon.
right. Thanks,
Thank
everybody. Bye now.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.